Welcome.
This is the 201st episode of the Brewers Podcast. Last week we celebrated 200 episodes, and now it's the countdown to our final episode ever. Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
we don't know what number that is, but like I guess we could. Should we start?
We could always be counting down to it.
Yeah, we're always counting down to our final episode. We're sick of it. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you everyone who listened last week to our episode with Counterweight.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Matt, super knowledgeable. And
Super duper.
He said that I had a nice question a couple times, and sometimes I don't know if it's a good question or not. So
Maybe they're just saying that because like it's like a buzz term. I feel like it's like, oh, great question.
you suck. That's like what says it in the
Right,
back of their
right,
head.
yeah.
So our episode today, I hope we get a lot of. That's a really good question.
Or maybe like,
Fuck you.
that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll just know what to
Lead with every answer with "That's a really good question." So we
Oh,
feel
please
good about
don't. Oh my
ourselves.
God. We get so old.
But Erica, where are we today?
We are at Front Porch Brewing.
Front Porch
Yeah,
Brewing.
I can't speak right now.
I like their beer. We're drinking right now. I'm drinking a Cherry Party Gal.
Are you?
Yeah.
that's great.
5.3% sour ale. 5.3%.
Yeah.
I don't think you're drinking.
I don't think
No,
you
I
are.
gave-
think you are.
No, you're not.
I gave you.
You're doing the Imperial.
What did you give me?
We
Oh,
we
shit.
have
Oh, shit.
My Love Lies Patiently.
Nope.
Oh,
Everybody's
Second
drinking the
strike.
Quantum Funk.
Okay, you know
Oh,
what? You know what's
I love
funny?
it. I love Quantum Funk.
You know what's
It's
really
great.
funny that you mentioned that? I was like, everyone's beer does look the same. So I was super fucking confused.
I thought that too, but I was like,
It's
I
a-
don't know.
Yours is
Except for
different,
Ryan's.
yeah.
Ryan got the
Ryan's got
Pilsner.
pills.
This is a beautiful like guava
But
color.
it's
Yeah.
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are just, enjoying our time in Connecticut, and a lot of people have been super awesome, and I think the Connecticut beer scene's rad.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Well, we were here for pizza.
That's
I
actually
was
the
here
point.
for pizza.
We came for
Beer was
pizza,
second,
and then we're
yeah.
like, oh, there's breweries down there.
Yeah. We're changing gears. We're pizza podcast now.
Yeah.
So everyone
Yeah.
really wants to learn about the history of pizza cheese and sauce,
Pizza
right?
cheese, huh?
Nowhere better to start than the pizza capital of the world.
Is this considered the pizza capital of the
Maybe.
world?
Yeah, New Haven.
You think of the world though? Not like Italy. Like
Dave Portnoy said it's.
he said a lot of things that we probably shouldn't get into either. So like,
That's also very true.
yeah. So, all right. Well,
Well, anywho,
yeah.
yep, cool.
We always start the podcast by asking our guests their roles at the brewery. So why don't you introduce yourselves first, so people know the beautiful voices behind the mics and the role at the brewery and first memory of beer.
My name is Tiffany Ulrich. I'm the co-owner of Front Porch Brewing with Ryan Wojtek sitting here to my right. My job title, I would say I do everything. I wash the toilets, I make the beer, I work on the labels, I submit things to the government and the state.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told us you have
everything.
1,000 roles.
Yeah, I do. I have literally 1,000 rolls.
Yeah.
I would like a list of those, please.
Yeah.
God,
please.
you would never want to see that.
And my name's Ryan Wojtek, also co-owner of Front Porch with Tiffany. Roles, yeah, kind of the same. Everything from brewing operations to managing our contracts at our outsourced locations to managing our cooperage, cleaning the tap lines, cleaning the trench drains. A lot of cleaning.
A lot of cleaning
Yeah.
here.
You
could just
at
call me
breweries. Yeah.
Janitor.
Started and ended with cleaning. So I think, we're
Yeah.
just janitors.
Janitors.
I love
A lot
it.
of picking up after people.
First memory of beer.
Oh, man, that's tough. I remember being 20 years old and being illegally served a Blue Moon,
Oh,
Did you
delicious.
have the?
and I'd never had beer.
Did you have the orange
Never.
in it? Was there an orange in it?
There was an orange in it.
Fuck that.
I was super like straight edge growing up. I was
Okay.
like super.
Do you have straight edge tattoos?
No.
All right, thank God.
I have some stupid fucking tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm very happy I never got.
You don't have the X's on
obnoxious
you?
X's on me. Yeah, I grew up really into like the local music, kind of like hardcore scene,
DIY stuff.
community. Yeah. I woke up one day and I was like, beer looks cool, man. I don't know if I could try beer. I literally like had no clue what anything was. I tried a Blue Moon thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like orange juice. I took a sip. I was like, this is the fucking worst thing I've ever had.
Have you had one since?
Finish it.
Sold.
Yeah.
Is it still the worst?
The worst, no, but the best, no.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I ended up like drinking a cider or something, and then I was just like, whatever, alcohol is alcohol. I really don't care about anything. And then I had a Unibrew Le Fin du Monde,
Oh shit.
Belgian triple, and that was the first time I was just like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
This is beer? Yeah.
That's awesome. It's like 9%, and like it's got all these different flavors and complexity that I've never tried in a beer. And then literally it was like I hit the ground running, and I was just like, what else does Unibrew make? What other breweries, are like them? What other Belgian triples are there? And then just like, we'd just be going to the store or going to the bar, any opportunity. And the only thing I ever wanted to do was try different. Never wanted to go back. I never wanted to try. Oh, I already had that. Like, I can't drink that again.
Did you get obsessed with
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, no, it's the complete opposite, where it's like, just give me like a comfortable, like good, solid, consistent option, like
Yeah.
Sea Hag from New England, or even like Headway from Counterweight, or our Pilsner is like my baby that Ryan's sipping over there.
Did you get super into those high IBU beers back in the day?
Yes and no. I mean, we back as homebrewers would like just try to fuck around and see how many hops we can compile into one little glass carboy, and it never worked out well.
How you can kill your taste buds in 30 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Dogfish 120.
West Coast style IPAs.
Yeah. A book. Tiffany, what about yourself?
My first memory of beer. I was, I think, like 5 or 6, and my mom left a Budweiser on the side of her toilet. Like, she had her own bathroom.
Oh, fun.
And I used to just go in there and see what was up. And I found it, and I just started drinking it while I was peeing, and I fell asleep on the toilet. And my mom found me.
So obviously we have a very similar story.
Yeah.
But back then, Budweiser cans did look a lot like Coca-Cola cans.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair.
They
Fair.
still do. No, I'm just kidding. So, like, when we heard how you fell in love with craft beer, why'd you fall in love with craft beer?
Or when did you?
Or when?
I'd say probably 2009, 2010.
Yep.
I was living in Boston, and there was a lot more craft beer. The scene was just starting really there. Sam Adams was big. Harpoon was just starting out.
Yep.
And then Connecticut, I moved back home to Connecticut, and there were probably 2 craft beer bars in the state, and I worked at one of them. And from there, it was just really learning how to express yourself with something like beer, trying out new recipes when you're a home brewer, mimicking things, but then changing things.
Yep.
Say the first time I really fell in love with it would probably be we made a beer called Crepuscular, which was like a runoff of a stout, and we soured it, and so it was like this beautiful like brown translucent sour stout, and it was so
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's probably when I fell in love with it.
How'd you get into homebrewing, both of you?
Experimenting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just working
honestly,
in the industry.
I feel like we would just be drinking beers or hanging out, and we would go to a package store, and we fell in love with sours. I think that's what was our we started with 2 additional partners back in the day. There was 4 of us, and cumulatively we all were just what different kind of sours can we get? We were obsessed with New England brewing. At the time it was now you can get sours every day of the week.
Yeah.
Every brewery almost. Years ago it was New England would do one release. They have their Weiss Trash Culture, Berliner Weiss. And it's just a traditional 3.5%, excuse me, German wheated sour. And we would just go and line up around the corner and get literally as many cans as you possibly, they would let you. We'd literally run back to the car and crack them in the tailgate, drinking. So excited over this one
That's
beer.
so funny.
And like I said, at the time that was a summer release that they did it once a year. That was it. There was really no other breweries doing it at the time. We would go to there's a package store down the corner from the brewery. We'd go there and just pick up any Belgian, German, any import bottles that they had, anything that was even resembled funky, let alone sour.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where we were just why don't we just try to make sour beer so we can because we were sitting there. I remember one of the first times we decided it was we want you imagine a sour beer with kiwi in it. And we're just never fucking heard of that.
Yeah,
We've seen that before. So the first thing we did was just figure out how to make sour beer, and then we threw a shit ton of kiwis right in it.
Yeah, and I feel our creations really resembled what we wanted to drink, but we couldn't find,
Yeah.
or things that we were thinking of.
I
Because
think that's really why we started homebrewing.
yeah.
So now, were you guys homebrewing together to start, or at what point did you guys
How'd your paths cross?
Yeah.
I think we all, including the other 2 that started the company, we I brewed a terrible brown ale on my stovetop by myself when I was first getting really into it, and then we were Tiff was saying she was working at a beer bar in New Haven. I was also working at one right down the street that was a little newer. And one of the other old partners was working with me, and same thing with the other partner at the other bar, and we kind of all just like,
We were like a collective, I think. It was like
Yeah.
much more affordable if you do it with like 4 people splitting
Right.
the cost of home
Yeah, of
brewing.
course.
Definitely.
And we were pumping out beers like 1 every week, it felt like, or even sometimes 2 times a week.
and it wasn't even like intentional. Like we didn't sit down and go like, all right,
It was organic.
we're gonna brew 2 times a week. We're gonna start
Yeah.
a business off this. It was kind of like it just kept happening, and then
Yeah.
eventually got to the point where we were doing it so much, and we started doing some like beer fests where they had like a homebrew section, and we are getting just
Oh,
amazing
awesome.
feedback, especially on the sour beers. So we're like, fuck it,
All right. Maybe we have something here.
yeah, let's look for a spot or something, and then
Yeah.
that's how we ended up here.
So no formal training.
No.
No.
we faked it. to
Lots
the
of
knee.
Yeah.
books.
Lots of
Lots
books.
of books, yes.
Yeah.
But, any books you want to shout out?
American Sour.
Yeah,
Was it
that's
American
probably-
Sour Ales? I think is the name of it. It's great.
Yeah.
The whole series. I forget who the
It's
author
like the
is.
hops, water, grain.
Yeah.
They're all
Oh,
separate
that one.
books.
Yeah.
Hops, water. Is it barley, and yeast. The yeast.
Yeah.
Book. The yeast book. I think like stands out the most to me. Like taught me a ton.
Yeah.
A ton, especially like whether it's sour or clean beer, just like viability and harvesting and all like the really really important things that sometimes can get looked over or not not appreciated or not appreciated, not as much attentive to
Not known
detail.
or whatever. Yeah.
Not as serious, not as serious
Yeah.
taken, I guess. And
Yeah.
that book really opened my eyes, being like, oh shit, like that's a living creature you got to take care of.
Right.
You can't, the tiniest speck of dust can get in there and your whole thing's ruined, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So those, I think those books definitely did a lot for me.
Yeah, also our community too. Like we had a lot of people. I think the craft beer industry in Connecticut was so small when it started out because we all knew each other.
Well, like even 2011, you couldn't serve pints, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
At a brewery. Yeah. You would just like tip them $20, and you're like, keep filling up that taster.
Yeah.
And New England Brewing used to have such a long line. You would just stand in the line to get your growler's fills that you had to take home, but they would give like little tiny, like 2-ounce, little
Samples.
sippy cups.
Yeah.
And the line was so long, you would have, by the time you get to the end of the line, it's like you can probably get through a good handful of the offerings.
Nice.
And they're super cool people, so they would just like,
Keep going.
keep going.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you weren't drinking pints, but at least you were able to like
Get a buzz.
Enjoy
yeah,
some.
yeah. And some, especially we were going there like so amped up. You know what I mean? Like Fuzzy Baby Ducks, their Citra IPA.
Oh,
at
we've
the
heard.
time. Yeah, we'd be like sitting there and be like, oh my god, like you just getting like a sip of it. It's just like, oh, it's fucking, like, obsessed. People were like losing their fucking mind. It was crazy. It was honestly, it's like in my mind and looking back at it now, like definitely just a different time
Yeah.
in beer. I don't want to say it's like
100%.
Do you miss
too
that?
saturated. Yes and no.
I would say yes.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely miss the aspect of that anticipation.
Underground, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
like things were a little less like
Corporate.
yes, yeah, spick and span. I would say
Yeah.
like
Yeah. We also have to think, a lot of the reasons we have those like big spick and span, those brews that have a lot of money behind them are also were a big help into the reason why you could now come into a place like this and drink a pint, and
Yeah.
only be able to get beer to go. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, I miss those old days of being able to like go to New England and like we're shaking in anticipation just for this like one growler of an IPA, which is so
Right.
silly to like look back on now. But then, if it wasn't for everything that's happened since, we'd probably still just be going to get growlers anywhere,
Right.
Yeah. Is that kind of the vibe that you're going for? That kind of back then, that feel?
I would hope so, yeah. I mean, I feel like everything we put out, we try to put out with like an emphasis on like, this is literally like us. Like we try to project ourselves.
Yeah.
Into,
Oh,
to
100%,
our beers,
yeah.
into our names, as far as like even like the people that come into our tap room. We distribute. We try to sell as much as we can outside of the brewery, but I think our heart is really like in the interactions and like the dealings that we have like right here in our tap room. The people that come in every Thursday.
Right.
Like when someone comes in.
regulars.
Yeah, we have one guy who comes in every Thursday, and like he'll drink whatever's new. And then I remember him coming in once, Jur, and we had just put out like a new batch of our Pilsner, and he was like, "Oh my god, you have the Pilsner back!" And I was just like, "I've never seen someone so excited
For a Pilsner, right?
Yeah, just like made my heart so full.
That is
like,
awesome.
They brew like the craziest stouts and IPAs, and even the sours. Just the stuff that's like super popular now. But like when you get someone that's like genuinely excited just because it's a good beer that they're familiar with
Yeah.
and they had such a good experience with previously, that's like really what like sells it for me.
That is
Makes it
awesome,
worth
though.
it.
It's the best feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm curious to know about when brewing became less of a hobby and more of a career aspiration. But we have a word from our sponsors. So Ryan,
Take it away.
cue up the sponsor machine.
Well, that was a fun sound for that. Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4-Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts. So I think everyone's goal eventually when you're a home brewer is, I don't know if everyone's goal. Certainly not my goal.
A lot of homebrewers are like, oh, I can't wait to open a brewery.
Yeah.
They dream of it anyways, you know?
LOL. Yeah, of course.
When
I think
did,
anything you do anything.
Right?
Anytime you do anything, like any hobby, you always, you know, whether it's a real dream or aspiration, you always have that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
What if, you know?
Yeah.
What was that kind of what if moment for you both?
I think it was really when we were getting like some really good feedback at some early beer fests, and we were like had lines compared to some other tables that maybe like didn't necessarily have as many, you know, not in a derogatory sense, but we just noticed a lot of people were like
Interested in your beers.
and after the fact would hit us up like on social media being like, hey, like how do I get your beers, where do I get your beers? And I think that really was the first step of like, oh
Come
shit,
to my apartment.
And then like finding this place too, like we've always been here. We started here and we're still here
How long have you been open?
since 2017.
yeah,
Wow.
November
Yeah,
2017, so we just
Awesome.
celebrated 4 years.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, so like this space, like we came by this space because New England Cider Company, they're down the street from here. They were actually originally in this location. And I worked with one of the co-owners at the time, and I made cider with them. So I was like, oh, you're leaving. Can I get in on this lease?
It was actually it like fell right in our laps because we had like the trench drain was already back there,
Yeah,
which was
it's
a
right.
huge
Yeah.
investment, and it was already zoned and regulated for manufacturing. We built this whole front half with the bar and everything. They were just making cider to sell.
Gotcha.
So at the time, you know, like
There's no like tap space sort of.
No.
yeah. So
It's
we
all
kind of
manufacturing.
rezoned this whole front half, and you know they had the cooler in here, but we put the taps in and cleaned it up a little. You know,
Yeah.
like a little more presentable. And
Yeah.
it was funny. Me and Tiff were both from West Haven at the time. You know, we were living and kind of homebrewing right in West Haven. So naturally, our first thought was like, okay, let's see if there's anything
in West
available
Haven.
locally. And there was nothing at the time. There was
Yeah.
not only there was nothing, but the only places we really looked at, even like Milford, the town over, it just seemed like they didn't want anything like that at the time.
Yeah.
They weren't really seeing it as like what, you know, breweries are
What it
now,
could
which are
be.
great local,
Yeah.
you know, businesses. And
It's a great resource, yeah.
yeah. I think at the time they're just like beer, alcohol.
Yeah, we don't
booze.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, which I get. You know, that, like we're talking, what was that, like
2016?
not even, like 2014?
2014.
Maybe.
Now they're
When we
like,
first started. We homebrewed for like a good few years.
Yeah.
Now they're like, please come.
yeah,
yeah. Oh,
New
yeah.
England Brewing Company is moving there. So it's like funny to
To
me.
West Haven, yeah.
Yeah,
That actually is
Kind of like full circle for us, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
it is.
interesting.
But yeah, we literally were like to the point where like, you know what, maybe this is just like going to be, you know, a homebrew thing for now. And I think like the next day, Seth from the
Yeah.
cider company hit up Tiff and was just like, hey, we're moving down the road. Like, landlord's great. He loves us. You know, everything's already zoned and regulated. So
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like a meant to be thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys are still kind of like homebrewing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
In
cool.
this building? Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we brew 1 barrel batches.
Okay.
Usually we'll push it up to, it's more of like the yield comes out to like 1.5 barrels, almost 2 barrels.
Gotcha.
Really-
And you said you're also like selling to bars and things as well.
Yeah.
So do you just brew every day?
No, so I would
Hell
not
on
be
earth.
here.
Yeah, right.
I would literally be dead. Yeah. No, we kind of have a really interesting, I guess, like, I don't even want to say business model, but kind of way we function right now, which is a little unique compared to most breweries in the state, where 99% of the stuff we do in-house here is like what you're drinking now, just the very like funky, sour.
Gotcha.
We the way we brew our sour beers is more a traditional method where we infect them with the bacteria that sours them after the fact of brewing. So it's more of a long process, but it yields, in my opinion, a better result of a more unique, more natural, more complex sourness, as opposed to just doing like a kettle sour where you sour the beer, you boil off all the bacteria, you throw it in the fermenter like any other normal beer. But all you're really doing there is you're pretty much using, not everyone, don't quote me on that.
Yes.
Most places will, just get like a straight pitch of the bacteria lactobacillus that use the sour, just to bring that pH down. So you get a very clean, very clean, very straightforward, calculated acidity and flavor profile on like a sour like that. But when you introduce those bugs, those bacterias post fermentation on the cold side of the aspect, not in the kettle, you're really kind of opening it up to let them do whatever they want, which is kind of like almost risky. But at the same time, when we have this tiny little system here, it kind of gives us that.
It's fun.
Yeah. It gives us that space. If God forbid something doesn't come out the way we want, it always sucks to throw something down the drain. But if we have to, it's not going to
it's like not
close
30
our
barrels.
doors.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Then on the other side of the equation, we work a little bit with a few other local facilities. We've been at Overshores, also known as the Beer X in East Haven, for a good couple of years now, since 2018. We mainly were brewing like our IPAs there, lagers. A lot of our core stuff, like canning and kegging.
So you do a little bit of contract brewing.
Yeah.
We have out of like 2 different places currently. But we have like collaborations that we've done with a lot of people at the Beer X, like the chocolate sweater you were looking at.
Yeah.
It's with Hulls. So they also are contracting out of Overshores.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Our buddies Hoax Brewing we're very close with. They're actually like old West Haven friends of ours too. So
Nice.
we like kind of grew up with them. They're also kind of like doing a very similar situation to
Yeah.
us. Then more recently, in the last like year and a half, we started working with 12% Beer Project in North
Oh,
Haven.
cool. Yep.
So we've done some collaborations out of there with our buddies from like Abomination, Skygazer, Fat Orange Cat, Proclamation. So we got to do some pretty cool stuff there. And then we'll also put out like some of our own solo beers out of there too. We kind of allocated that as more. Now we've got like more specific where we do like our really funky barrel aged wild stuff up here, and we do like our hoppy and our like kettle sour, very fruited, kind of hypey sour stuff, 12%. And then we've kind of allocated like all of our clean like lagers, like our Pilsner, which we try to always have at Overshores. So kind of like in a specific stance at this point, but I kind of like it because that's
It works.
Yeah, that's kind of like our 3, I think, kind of core focuses is we always want to have our sours. IPAs obviously are still very popular and gonna make sure we have that, and then pretty much big stouts.
Yeah, I would say like it's surprising to me how many breweries in Connecticut contract brew. Like the other day, I picked up Berlinetta, one of their lagers, being contract brewed at Thimble Island, but similar idea. Like it's like
There's nothing wrong with it.
no, just like you're small, and so like you can fulfill the needs for the tap room, but to actually get your stuff out there,
without having to buy a
Contract
massive
helps.
system or whatever else.
Yeah, because they're
Affordable.
on the smaller scale. I really want to go check them out. I've heard awesome
Yeah.
things. I've yet to try their beer, unfortunately, but they have a tiny little setup. I heard they like brew there, full time, all the time, and they'll sell like their kegs out of there, and then for like their cans and stuff, they do the contracts, which is kind of very, very similar to what we try to do.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are pretty open or cool, down with, if you will, collaboration brews.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're very, very open.
Yeah.
I know that's like a a hit or miss with a lot of other brands.
Yeah.
Some brands like to stick to their brand.
Right.
They don't want to like blur the lines, or they have a very specific kind of image they want to present. And I respect the shit out of that. I
Yeah.
think we're kind of like on the other end of it, where we're like, let's just like, how weird can we get? Like,
what
That's
are we
awesome.
going to come up with next?
yeah, like we don't have one set artist for our cans. We kind of like, we're always changing, and it can, I think it's again another double-edged sword where it's always good to have that like familiarity of your image and your brand and everything, but I also kind of like that we kind of just like throw a curveball every time.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, definitely.
completely different from the last thing. Or
What do you love about the collaboration brews?
The other brewers that we meet, they're always like
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
It really is, yeah.
We just become lifelong friends because we're just as weird and kind of like followed the same path. You know?
A lot of, I feel like people in the beer industry have that same path. Like, oh, we're homebrewers and
Oh,
we're
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
music industry. It's like so many of
Yeah.
you guys are in the music industry. And
yeah.
it's all very similar, which is cool.
Yeah.
yeah, no, we've made a ton of friends, and it's really cool too because then you like. Like we started working with Abominations. Tiff knew Josh from Abomination, and then we started hanging out with Josh and Joe, his partner, and then we all like kind of became friends. And then they were friends with Taylor from Skygazer, so I met Taylor from Skygazer through I think Josh when they were like
Yeah.
at the bar together one day. And then I was like, talking to Taylor, and it's like, oh, like you're really known for your sours. Like we love to do sours too. Like let's do a sour together. And that's kind of the cool part is I really like about it is like everyone's like a segue into like. The
Someone
next person.
else,
It's just one big
something
community.
new. Yeah.
There really is like, at least not in my eyes, I haven't seen many, at least in our state. God knows like
Yeah.
where else, but like it's
I don't
all,
think there's anything else.
yeah, it's like really just camaraderie, not competition. In my eyes, at least. I hope. everyone else
It's like the drinkers are more of the competitive side
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
than the
You're
people
right.
who actually make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Re-fermentation in the can. You ever worried about that with your products?
Not if they're made out of 12%.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean that's such a tough topic because sometimes that has nothing to do with you or your product. That could be just how the reseller is
Yeah.
handling
Storing it.
Oh, yeah.
storing
True.
it. They could get a case of beer and that's totally fine. They could put it in the cooler. It's there for 2 weeks and they're like, oh shit, it's not moving. Let's put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who put it on the shelf? Put that back in the cooler, and then it's going back and forth,
Yeah,
back and forth, back and forth, and that's just like literally just like beating the shit out of the beer.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, how much can I stress this fucking beer out and make it taste as worse as possible?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, that's never been a huge issue for us. I know we've had like one batch of a beer in the past where I think like just a little bit of residual yeast like hung on in the bright tank. So when it got packaged, it sat a little bit and the cans got a little tight and it happens. But again, like beer is such a living object. You see like the biggest brewers in the world still sometimes have to like pull shit back or send out like a big notice of like, hey, listen guys, this is
This beer is perfectly
standard.
fine. It's just not to our standard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a living object. You never know what the hell's going to happen with it.
It's true.
So I'm looking at the discography of beer above us. The can art's awesome. So, like, who are some of the artists that do the can art?
I have I kind of deal with all of the artists. Sometimes I do them myself. Like I do a majority of the ones that go out of 12%. But I work with them because I don't know. There's we were born in this weird age where a lot of us learned how to do a lot of art non-digitally. So sometimes I work with a lot of artists who are like doing things that are handmade. So translating that into like Illustrator,
it's tough.
redrawing. Yeah. So it's like always something that has to get reworked. So like I just basically go through a lot of local people. We, are constantly like just meeting new people and throwing so many events here that deal with the arts. Like we have the Pink Flea annually. We just started doing like a Halloween flea market and a lot of those artists are coming here and selling art. So just like finding these people, collaborating and kind of like discussing, they always I never like telling people exactly what to do because I feel like it limits you a little bit.
Yeah.
So like giving creative freedom to these people to express themselves and what like just the name of the beer I think is like so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm never really disappointed with anything that I get. But sometimes like, you can be a little like stuck creatively just with a line or a phrase. So like working through things like that, I like doing stuff like that with everyone. But yeah, they're all mostly from Connecticut. Miggs is actually, he works at Counterweight in the tasting room. He did a couple of our cans. Maggie does a lot of our stuff. She works for Collective Arts. She's done stuff at Housatonic, I believe, or is that Connecticut Valley. I can't remember.
Woodbury,
Woodbury.
I think.
Yeah, she's done like so many different labels.
Dockside. I don't know if she's done labels, but I know she like
Did the
painted
wall
their
painted?
entire.
She does
Oh, wow.
murals.
Oh, very cool.
She's literally all over.
Super
this.
talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have all the artwork in between the bathroom on the wall to the left over there. Is all
Yeah,
the
that's like
prints
her
of hers.
personal stuff. She likes monsters.
Yeah, lots of monsters.
Love it.
A handful of those monsters up there are from her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely. I want to get into the name Front Porch Brewing, but we do have to keep the lights on the Brewers podcast. So, Ryan,
Take it away.
cue up the machine.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brute sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
So the name Front Porch Brewing, is that just because the name was around or available, or like why did you name your
Did you
brewery?
brew on a front porch?
Yes, we did. So
Oh, cool.
in the beginning of this, it was like more of a collective, we were saying, and we struggled to identify ourselves because we had too many cooks in the kitchen.
Of course.
And so I think like really we were just like, okay, well, we brew on this front porch all year round. And the mail lady who would come there would be like joking, like, "You guys making meth on this porch right now?"
Do you have a beer named after the mail lady?
No, I wish we did.
You should.
I know. If only she could see us now.
Yeah.
Look where we got.
Joke's on you,
us now.
mail lady.
Meth, more like beer.
Yeah. That's a great beer name. I don't know if the TTC they want that, but
They probably reject us.
yeah. Try it.
Try.
Right.
We'll come down. We'll do a collaboration beer.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yes. I love this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just like, we were always brewing on the front porch in the backyard, and it just was so much easier because that's just what we were, In Connecticut, and especially in West Haven where we live, houses are predominantly with huge front porches because they're really old homes.
Yeah.
So that's just where we got our name from. And now we're sticking it. We talk a little bit sometimes about like, is it still Front Porch Brewing? You know what I mean?
Like, are you considering a rebrand?
We were talking about it. We're just because there's a
Awesome.
lot.
It's just got that
Around.
exclusive right there.
Yeah. Just because, I mean, it would suck because you put so much energy into a brand
Yep.
to do something like that. But there's also a lot of like trademark crap
Yep.
going on with this name as well. So
Interesting.
Yeah, and like Tiff
Yeah.
said too, is like when we started, technically there were 5 of us originally home brewing, and then before we even had the concept of the brewery, one of them kind of fell out, and then just over time, we had 2 more fall out. Now it's just the 2 of us, and like Tiff said, it's like, is it still like the same?
You've kind of
It
grown
is,
into
but it's
something
not.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're something kind of different. Like I feel like we're kind of.
Yeah, beer, not meth. That's the
Right.
name. There we go. No,
that's our new album.
You're welcome.
no, but that's pretty cool. Like that you realize that, right? You're not just like, all right,
Beating
we're
a dead
stuck with
horse.
this name, right?
Yeah.
There's also a Front Porch Brewing in Colorado, but they
Like
just put a U.
POUR.
Like porch, you biters. If you're listening to this, you're a bunch of biters.
Yeah. Stop sending us your bills.
Damn it.
We literally get bills from them. It's like,
Really? Oh my God.
what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? They're across the country. It's like
Do you pay their bills? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
We did once by accident. I was like, wait, didn't we
really?
already
Oh my
pay
God.
this?
Oh no.
Oh
that's news to me.
Surprise.
no. I feel like this is a subject we don't want to get too deep into, so we'll move on. But
I'm just gonna keep talking shit about the other front.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. Just bring it up
Just kidding.
sporadically.
You guys are right. I never tried your beer, but I bet you it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever.
Just okay.
Very good. This space right here. What is it like when it's like fully capacity? Like, what's it like for you both to just see something that you've put your hands into, and like you have a tap room full of people?
overwhelming.
Yeah.
I would say even like going to New York for events, like people in New York know who Front Porch is so insane.
Humbling, yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
like, I mean, you always, I don't know, the dream of like being an artist is like to create something and then set it out into the world, right? And people, try it and experience it. So I think it's kind of like weirdly fulfilling.
Yeah.
But I would say like our events and stuff like that, when there's like 500 people here, it's insane. Obviously, we have like the outside area all set up, but it's just a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a video of me where they're like trying to interview me, and I'm just like, I slept for like 2 hours. I was making a playlist while I was driving here. Like, I'm just like trying to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter how many events or things we've done or tastings or flea markets, I always have like massive anxiety right before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Normal.
It never goes away. It's never like, oh, we've done this before, it'll be fine. It's every single time. But then like as soon as like the flow's there and we get into it and everyone's good,
Feels great.
the
It's
Halloween
fine.
Yeah.
flea market,
Yeah.
it is a really good feeling. It's so cool to see like a community. You know what I mean? Whether having that Halloween flea market was so awesome, as you see people that like, whether they've like been just friends of ours in other bars that like would order our beer because they like us and they're coming to support this event specifically here, or mug club members, or we Yale Billiards is right across the street, like employees from there, like family.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see like people pulled from so many different like
Yeah, of course.
spots just to come like support what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Pink Flea this year because I haven't been able to do it since 2020, like right before COVID. But that event was like insane. I had like 27 female vendors of all different
that's
crafts.
awesome.
Yeah, like we have the unit next door too. I don't think you guys have seen that space next door, but it used to be when we first got it, it was completely empty. So I put everybody in there. But this year there's just so many people who are so interested in it because it was the first time anything like that had happened. I just wanted to like experiment a little bit more outside of beer because we were raising money for Pink Boots, but at the same time I kind of wanted to raise money for other women who are just like out there making things.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be alcohol.
Right.
So I'm really excited because like all of them are so hyped to come back, and then I've got more people who want to come and participate in it.
Yes.
So it's like finding like the right feeling for everything, which is
Yeah.
like, the most exciting part of it,
Yeah, for sure.
like curating it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like super great and cool for all these people to come and like
Yeah.
buy our beer, and we'll have a really good sales
Well,
day. But
yeah,
it's cooler
but
to
it's good
see
for
them,
them too.
like also be thrive,
Right.
Yeah.
and, like coming to people like they're getting exposure. Obviously now with social media, it's so easy. Like you can walk around that whole space of all these vendors and literally probably like follow every single one of
Yeah.
their business accounts before you leave the room.
Right. Right.
You're like whether you're a longtime customer or even just buying stuff that day. It's like it's awesome to have be the venue.
I was saying be a role in
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
to kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
facilitate
to
it.
help out other local, and that's the best part of this. It's like that's what we've wanted, and that's what we want in general. Is just like really cater to like the people that are coming through this door right here. And,
Yeah.
take care of like our local community.
Yeah, definitely.
If you go back in the time machine and tell your younger selves, your straight out self, you're in 2009 in Boston.
Don't do it.
Don't go into business with your fucking friends.
Okay, yeah.
It's true.
It's like nonstop anxiety, I would say,
Okay.
owning a business, especially in the alcohol industry.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, we're dealing with a controlled substance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they treat
Definitely.
that very, very,
Very seriously.
seriously.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Just as we do too,
And it's just so much physical work all the time.
and mental.
Yes.
How'd you go on vacation?
I honestly,
Did
I
you
think
go
this,
on vacation?
this is the first time I really went and I didn't do anything while I was there. So it
That's
was
beautiful, though.
Yeah, it was nice actually.
It was probably, yeah.
But then like the next day when you get home, you're like,
And I'm right back.
What have I
And
missed?
We're back.
Oh my god.
It is, it's really, you need to like have such a passion for anything, whether it's beer or whatever you're getting into to start the business, because it's
Yeah.
not just like having a great brew day and seeing your, having a great beer release. It's,
Yeah.
taking out the trash, mopping, literally like getting on your hands and knees and scrubbing.
And you guys feel so
calling
small.
the state about forms that no one knows how to fill out.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, fun.
Yeah,
Fun.
having someone like buy a 4-pack off a shelf that was 6 months old and they're pissed off and like dealing with damage control and shit like that. It's everything, It's
Yeah.
like really, it like Tiff said, it's like it's fucking, it's a lot, like it's a lot, and it's you really like if that passion isn't like 100%, it's I think it's really tough to get through it, or it would be. I think the only reason we're still doing it is we just care so much.
Unless you're lucky and you just like don't ever aspire to have your own place and you just contract brew, I feel like you don't have to worry about anything. It's just like, here's my recipe.
Make it awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as long as it sells.
Thanks, you guys.
Sell, you gotta worry about that.
True.
Why are
Shelf
people,
space.
speaking of that, why are people grabbing Front Porch Brewing, in your opinion?
Honestly, going back to what we were just saying, I really hope it's like just those relationships and connections we've built by having this bar right here. And
They love you
4
guys.
years old now. That's what. Yeah, honestly, that's what we really try. We're one of those brands. You look at, not every brand is like face forward entirely.
Yeah.
I think that we try to just like own this. Like when people think Front Porch, it's like Ryan and Tiff. Like,
Yeah.
they know that.
They know us
Most
probably
people that-
personally.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I
That's really
probably
cool.
serve them a beer somewhere else or here.
Yeah, we've both been in the bar industry for the last decade. Before the brewery, still during the brewery, still
Yeah.
to this day. Like I'm going to my night job right after this
Yeah.
Yeah.
to go manage.
So are you both, is this full-time gig for, I know not for you, but is this a full-time gig for you?
Well, I would say like the hours we put in is definitely full time between the both of us, and like I have so much student loan debt that I work another job. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just can't
Isn't that
afford to
terrible?
do it.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It sucks to sit here and we're such a small operation, and obviously like COVID didn't help. Obviously the winter is the slowest time.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world, I'd love if we were able to just have a way higher amount of money coming in, so we could just put that back into us, so we can just be here all the
Survive
time.
and live. And yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
You'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're trying. That's what it's now. It's just like the grind of I
Even-
was here all day, and I have to go to my job tonight. I'm gonna wake up, after going to bed at 2 a.m. after closing
Right.
the bar, come right back here, go
Right.
back there, back and forth, and
Even when we go to like festivals, we always have the longest line. People are always like, who the hell is this? And I'm like, we've been open for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like there's so many new people coming into the craft beer scene all the time.
Definitely.
And so like experiencing and going to places and hanging out and finding your favorites where you feel comfortable, a brand that you find like represents maybe things that you want to see or taste in craft beer is really awesome. And I think like even when we go, people always comments about the design of our cans, which is like,
Yeah, they're really rad.
Our branding is like
Yeah.
on point with like who we are
Oh,
as
for
people
sure.
and like the kind of image we want to like put out there. So I feel like with all of those things, it's like success is like, at least we're like expressing ourselves to our fullest extent,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
yeah, whether it goes over well or not with the general public, at the end of the day, at least we know that we're
You're true to you.
Yeah.
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 That's important.
It is,
important.
though.
Don't lose sight of that, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm good with questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This
Yeah.
has been awesome.
Awesome.
Ryan, do you have a
Thank you
question?
guys.
Oh. It's just really, I can see the passion for what you're doing. I can
Thank you.
feel that, it sucks. I've worked 2-3 jobs at once. I know
I mean,
that.
I work 2 jobs and I do this,
Yeah.
and I'm helping out with Pink Boots now as well. Like
that's
it's
awesome.
it's just like nonstop, right? And I just am so
Yeah.
passionate about like you guys, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, but like you do it because you love it,
But yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah. When you're passionate about it,
Yeah.
the work is obviously it's tough, but it's fulfilling.
right,
And it's
It's worth
easy.
it.
exactly.
It's easy
Yeah.
to get discouraged.
It is.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
There's
true.
ups and downs always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's several times I remember sitting here just being like,
Fuck it.
I'm just gonna put my key on the bar and fucking
Yeah.
run away.
Leave.
I'm going to Vermont.
but I
Never.
the beer is great that we've
Thank
had
you.
today.
Beer is
And-
amazing.
Thank you.
I'll make sure you
Yes.
guys take some stuff to go.
Yeah,
Oh.
and we had the Quantum Funk.
Yes, just
That's what
everyone
we had.
Yeah.
So everyone-
I just
drinking
decided to pour everyone the water.
I don't.
It's all right. We
was
loved
great.
it. It was amazing.
But more importantly, we want people to come here so you can quit your full-time jobs.
Yes.
So
Now.
if your employers are listening, we're just kidding. It was a joke. Yeah. But how can
Where are you located?
Where are you located? What are your hours of operation currently?
We're at 226 North Plains Industrial Road. You'll see a sign out front that says Front Porch Brewing. We are
Wallingford.
open. What did I say?
Wallingford.
Oh, I forgot Wallingford. My bad. Just you
Just Google it.
Just Google it. You'll find it.
I know.
Our hours are up to date on every platform except for CT Brewers Maps
Ooh.
app.
Oh,
Don't look at that.
I wish you told us because we interviewed someone earlier. We could have fixed that real quick.
Looking at you, guy.
But we're open Thursdays from 3 to 8, Friday from 3 to 9, Saturday 12 to 9, and Sunday 1 to 6.
Yeah. And as always, we always suggest our listeners, please go to their website or their social media before going to the brewery, because we would hate that you listen to this episode in like June and it's different hours. So,
Right.
Also follow us on social media.
yeah, follow us.
Give them
social
a follow.
media. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what makes you cool these days.
Yeah. And there's always pictures of like dogs.
Yeah. Dogs are
love
rad.
dogs.
Who doesn't love dogs?
Yeah. Haters.
We got the biscuit boys here.
Yeah.
Oh, biscuit boys.
Biscuit boys.
Yeah.
Like Limp Bizkit. No, I'm just kidding.
Way cooler.
There might be.
Yeah, wait.
Fred Durst is here. That's wicked cool. But yeah, thank you again for doing this. And we're going to drink more beer. And we got one more interview after this tonight. And then I can cuddle Ryan all night.
Woohoo!
He won't let me.
Keeps trying.
We shared a bed and there was 3 feet between us on this queen bed. I don't know even how we had
It was a full.
I think
my
it was
God.
queen.
It wasn't even a queen.
Really?
No.
You still had space?
You make a
We had
pillow
space.
wall, Ryan? You put up that nice pillow wall between the two?
No.
No, I just farted a bit.
Yeah, I stayed away.
Pillow wall.
Yeah. It is a wall. Well, thank you. Thank you for doing this. And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thanks for having us, guys.
No problem.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.